on the weekend?
The game went well because we won, but overall, it was a game that we needed. Those are the type of games I think we're going to need going forward. Those games kind of show what your team is made of, and to be able to figure it out and get it done was big for our group.
Yeah, and who would you say sort of, was a standout among your team on the weekend?
I would say Marquise. He was very aggressive. He got to the line. He put pressure on the defense, and I think by him doing that, it opened up shooting opportunities for myself, Fisher, and other guys on the team.
And how do you feel having won that? Jordan's one of the top 4 teams heading into the rest of the games for the year.
You play this game to play the best. So we knew coming in that team was going to give us a good fight, and they did that. And like I said before, I think it was a very much needed game that we needed. We haven't had too many close games where we had to fight and actually come out with the win, and we did that this weekend.
Yeah, and was it a real challenge for you guys? Given it was such a low-scoring game, obviously it was quite a defensive challenge.
Definitely a tough game. They were aggressive on the rebounds. I think they out-rebounded us. So we got things to work on this week, and I'm sure next time we play them, it's going to be more tough and more physical.
Just looking at the end of the game, you came up big, you had a few big shots, a big dunk, 3 key free throws, and then a big block on a 3-point attempt down the end. How good does it feel to sort of step up in those key moments of the game?
It feels great. We won, and sometimes you got to sacrifice and do things for the team. Me not jumping for that 3, they missed, I think 4 previously to that. I think that one probably was going to go in, so it was kind of a gamble on my part because it could have been a foul possibly. You never know, but those are things those are risks you take and live with the consequences.
And how do you deal with a game where it's a slow pace, it's a lot of fouls, and how do you deal with that, and how does the game plan change from sort of the running down offense that you guys usually are out there with?
Just paying attention to details, controlling the pace of the game. I think starting the third, I think we did a poor job of that, and we were turning the ball over. We let the zone bother us, but when we collected ourselves, I think we did a great job with getting ball movement and getting open shots.
How important is that ball movement? It seemed in the first half it was a little bit slower, and then in the second half you guys were moving the ball, getting open shots. How important is that going to be to getting wins and running a cohesive offense?
It's going to be very, very important. That's going to be a huge thing going forward. Those are things that we have to do. There's no shortcut around it. So that's probably the top of the list.
I would say that Geelong is a really good team. They're 13-1 for a reason. They did a good job of exposing our defense when we were in a 1-3-1 the last couple minutes of the game. So kudos to them, bad on our part, but as I said, they're number 1 in the league for a reason. So I would expect a team like that to sort of come through in the closing minutes of the game.
Absolutely, and given that they are number 1, do you not feel like too much confidence not leading into this weekend's game?
Oh no, we had all the confidence in the world going into the game. We were down 5 at halftime. I think we executed our game plan. We got every shot that we wanted. Some shots didn't fall, and in the end, they went on a little run that sort of hurt us. So that's all. We always go into a game confident, and we always go into a game expecting to win.
And given you got a double header coming up this weekend, what do you think you have to do to change to clinch those 2 games?
Well, Hazy is a big sayer of flush, fix, and forget. So right after the game, watched the game, sort of figured out what we needed to work on, what we needed to fix, and stuff like that. And just being prepared this upcoming week, in practice and staying focused, and realizing that we have 2 games this weekend that we have to be able to get, starting with Bendigo, and we'll just go from there.
And do you still feel like there's enough fire in bellies to get all those games and make it into the playoffs at the end of the season?
Oh yeah, of course. At the end of the day, we're still trying to get to playoffs, and we're going to take it 1 game at a time. And a doubleheader on a weekend is always a great opportunity for us, just because we don't have enough time to sort of, if we do lose, to sort of relish on that. So we have to sort of get over the hump and get to the next game. And that's the best part about it. You don't have to wait an entire week for another game. So we get a chance to sort of redeem ourselves.
No, you had a really strong shooting game. How does the game plan change when your teammates' shots, maybe the outside shots and just some of the jump shots just really aren't falling?
I would say It was tough. I mean, Geelong, they're a great team and all, but again, like I said, we've got every shot that we wanted. Shots weren't falling, and that's going to happen for players, and we didn't sort of like get down on that. I know like a couple of us who did miss shots were upset within ourselves, but as a team, we were still happy for each other. We were still like encouraging each other to shoot the ball and stuff like that, and our post did a great job of sort of sucking the post in so that we could get those outside shots. And sometimes the ball just isn't in our favor for some games, but at the end of the day, we're still going to keep shooting the shots that we get.
And I know the driving kick's been a massive, and the pace you guys play at is a massive part of your game plan. Do you think you might need a bit more aggressiveness at the rim? Only had the 5 free throw attempts on the game.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess we would definitely like to have more free throws, but at the same time, can't control when the ref blows and not blow their whistle. But I think we drive to the basket. Our posts, do a great job down low. We get them the ball if they're open and stuff like that. And if we happen to get to the free throw line, we happen to get to the free throw line. But it's always a goal to try to get to the free throw line. It's on our board before every game to sort of get up more free throws than the other team shoots. So sometimes we get it, sometimes we don't.
And how are you feeling with your performance? Obviously, a really strong and a really efficient game from you. Are you really sort of fitting in and comfortable with Hazy's offense?
Yeah, I've always been comfortable with Hazy's offense. Hazy is a great coach. I think that a lot of what he says is things that I agree with. If I've always thought that as long as the team and a leader of the team sort of follows through with the coach, then nothing can sort of go wrong, type of thing. And with Hazy as our leader, nothing is going to prevent me or anyone else from sort of steering away from that. So, yeah.
Yeah, a really tough game, low scoring, but very physical. It was pretty much like a playoff game. Usually in the playoffs, points come down. Probably not, hopefully, that many. But at the end of the day, we're pretty happy to get the win. Winning in Geelong, not too many teams do that, and I think it's a really good sign for us. I think if you can win away games like in Orawidonga, Geelong, and now the next one, Bendigo, that's a really positive sign. You can do well in the playoffs in particular.
What do you put the low scoring down to?
Well, I put it down to really, really good defence from both teams. There are plenty of opportunities for either team to hit shots. I think the pressure of the situation perhaps might have inhibited players from making shots on the night, and that happens sometimes. There's going to be a night where both teams aren't making shots. Whoever plays the best defence and gets rebounds at the right times usually comes away with a win. So we're pretty happy it was us.
And given Geelong's only one of the top teams, how good was it to knock them out of peck, I guess?
Yeah, look, they have been a top team for a long time, and I believe they beat the Miners by a massive margin last year in the finals. So, I mean, it really doesn't mean a lot to us in respect to what happened in the past. We basically a new team with 6 new players, so we're really focused on what we want to achieve this year. And I haven't looked at any past results to tell you the truth. It's more about the next game and who we play and where we want to go. The next game is Bendigo. We've got our last double, Bendigo and Albury, and we win those two. That actually puts us into the playoffs. So that's probably the first goal achieved. I think definitely 13 wins for us, possibly even 12. Will secure a spot in the playoffs, and then it's about setting goals to finish higher.
How does the game plan change in a game that, like you said, is low scoring? It's kind of like a rock fight. The shots aren't falling and a lot of fouls being called. How does the strategies change?
Yeah, look, that's not probably really the strategy in respect to changing, because if you're drawing fouls, like we got to the line 30 times, so someone said they had 20 more shots than us, but they weren't looking at the free throws. So we're an aggressive team in respect to driving to the basket, putting the ball in the post. That was a focus for us early, was to try and get Hicks in foul trouble, and we achieved that. We ended up fouling out. So as far as strategy goes, if we're getting good shots, you're not going to change what you're doing. You just sometimes you just don't make shots. But what comes into play then is rebounding. So you want to get second shots, or you want to stop the other team from getting second shots. So we were concerned in the first half. A big focus was not so much about we're not shooting well, because I think if you bring that to the players' attention, that only makes things worse. I really encourage players, even when we're not shooting well, shoot the ball. It's always been a philosophy of mine anyway, so I don't want players second guessing. If they take bad shots, that's a whole different story. But, you know, we were still taking good shots, and they were probably in the game because of their offensive rebounding and our poor free throw shooting. You know, we was, I think it was 9 or 10 free throws in the first half, and we gave up a heap of offensive rebounds. So we got good defensive stops, and then we allowed them to get some putbacks, and that's probably what kept them in the game and kept them in the game. In respect to, if you look at the margin and the amount of free throws we missed, we probably should have won by, you know, double figures.
And can you walk me through the decision to go to Quan on in the second half?
Yeah, well, we felt that he was penetrating, getting to the rim, so we just asked Quiney to see if he could, you know, shut him down, shut down his penetration, and try and keep him off the board. So that third quarter was pretty crucial. I mean, Quiney only scored 4 points, but his impact on the defensive end was really good.
And obviously one more away game, and then you got the last 6 games at home. How does it feel to, you know, come away from the vast majority of the season playing away with only the 1 loss on the road?
Yeah, I think that's perspective. We've got to keep it in perspective that's a pretty good achievement so far. So what we need to do now, you know, I'd love for us to get a win at Bendigo and just have the 1 loss on the road, and then reward ourselves, you know, in respect to, you know, with our home games that are remaining. I really feel that you rather play your finals at home. You know, the grand final, when you know, you get there, it's usually pretty even. You know, you're going to be playing someone else's venue. But if you're going to have home finals and have your crowd support, and I just think it's a little bit of an advantage. So that's what we've been working towards. So that's going to be the next goal. So right now, you know, we'll focus on trying to beat Bendigo in Bendigo, as we did with Geelong, and then come home for those remaining games and reset our goals. You know, the goal, we've got to get in the playoffs first, so winning Bendigo will get us that, and then we can assess top 4, and then as we move closer towards the end of the season, maybe 4 games to go, we'll have a bigger picture where we're going to finish top 2. But, you know, I mean, there's no point looking too far forward. Been in the game a long time. It's really important to focus on Bendigo, who's, you know, starting to win some games as well. They're fighting to be in the playoffs. We know there's a rivalry there. They're going to be up, just like Geelong were. You know, we expected a tough game at Geelong, and we got it. And I'm expecting a tough one in Bendigo. So, you know, we're only focus on what we can control. And, you know, we're a pretty good team. And as much as we talk about stopping them, they've got to stop us as well.
And I know you were fairly impressed with the facilities out in Geelong. How exciting is it to, you know, have those sort of facilities out in Ballarat in the near future?
Well, we've got a pretty good stadium here. There's nothing wrong with us, but it brought back memories for me. I played in the NBL, and it's a great venue to play in Geelong. And what they did, they had a special function, so they recognised a couple of their past players, the US guys that they brought out 20 years ago. So I thought that was pretty special. They looked after us after the game, as we do. You know, a lot of people talk about how we've got the best after game. You know, we've got the kitchen that cooks meals. So it was great. You know, the venue's great. It's probably the next best venue. There's nothing wrong with the minor dome though. You know, we've got stands on both sides, big stands on both sides. You know, we've got facilities, bars, and all that sort of stuff. So the new court's going to be great because we're going to have greater numbers. You know, there's an opportunity to have nearly 4,000 at the games, which is going to be pretty special in the future.
Looking towards the rush, something we've touched on for a lot of the year. They're in the game for the vast majority, and then at the end, they just can't seem to close. What did you see on the weekend if you were watching the end of that?
Yeah, I didn't see the whole game. It's just some lapses. You know, their size was a factor. I thought the big girls, the Tina and in particular Blickers, you know, I coached quite a few of those girls, and Sarah's really versatile. He has the ability to knock down threes and play inside as well. So, you know, Geelong and Bendigo are the 2 best teams. So I looked at our draw for the girls, and I really feel comfortable that, you know, we talked about it last week, that they're playing the top 2 teams. If they could get one, it'd be awesome. But I still feel they can, you know, finish the season winning the rest of their games. So if you take that out, the last 6 home games, and they're actually a chance of making the playoffs. So they can beat every team, you know, on their night, they can beat every team. Now Bendigo's full of opals, as Geelong was too. So it's going to be a tough ask, but you never know what can happen on the night. But if you look at expectation in regard to talent-wise, I wouldn't be surprised the girls won the last 6 and ended up in the playoffs. So but all they've got to do is go out and give it everything they've got and have this game tight. The game was pretty tight till 3/4 time, and just after 3/4 time, so it just blew out. So they were in 5 or 6, we're within 5 or 6 points. They've got to be around that mark, the same again at Bendigo, and perhaps.